Starseed, if something within you has shifted in recent weeks and you cannot name what it is, listen closely. We of the Arcturian Council have come to confirm the crossing has already been concluded. We are not speaking of a future date, a prophecy waiting to be fulfilled, or a cosmic portal yet to open. We have detected the finalization of the process in your field. The frequency of your body is no longer the same as it was 6 months ago. Your nervous system is reacting to stimuli that previously went unnoticed. The people who once made sense in your life now seem to speak a language you have forgotten. This is not a coincidence. This is not a phase. This is evidence. Remain in this transmission, because what we are about to reveal explains every symptom you are feeling and every strangeness you have been unable to share with anyone. You need to understand what has happened before you continue interpreting the signs incorrectly. We begin here. The crossing is not an event marked on the cosmic calendar. The crossing is a frequency reconfiguration that has already occurred for a specific portion of incarnated humanity. We measure this. We monitor every individual field, and what we are reporting now is vibrational mathematics, not metaphor. Two realities have begun to coexist on the same physical planet. The dense Earth, governed by fear, programmed scarcity, and automatic competition, continues to operate for a part of the population. And a lighter Earth, governed by coherence, expanded consciousness, and sovereign responsibility, has begun to operate in parallel for you. This separation does not happen in space. It happens in frequency. That is why you may be sitting at the same dinner table with members of your family and feel as though you are on another planet. That is why conversations that once held you now sound like mechanical noise. You have not gone insane. You have not turned cold. You are simply no longer occupying the same layer of reality that you occupied before. And your body knows this before your mind can explain it. You wake up for no reason at 3 in the morning with the sensation that something is being installed. You feel your chest tighten when you enter environments where the collective vibration is dense. You cry hearing a specific sound, seeing a specific sky, reading a specific sentence, and you cannot explain why. We know. You are recognizing memories from your original plane. In a moment, the Council will reveal the first technical sign that the crossing has been completed in your field, and why this sign is frequently mistaken for depression by humans who were not called for this mission. The first clinical indicator we measure in the field of the operative, who has already crossed, is the complete loss of interest in ancient patterns. You simply cannot do it anymore. You can no longer feign enthusiasm for gossip. You can no longer enter the competition for approval. You can no longer dress in a version of yourself that needs to be accepted. You can no longer feed dramas, create imaginary enemies, or chase validation in environments that you yourself know to be empty. And here is the detail that must be corrected now. The low-frequency collective will interpret this as apathy, depression, lack of ambition, or pride. You yourself, in moments of fatigue, will doubt and think that something is wrong with you. We have come to confirm that nothing is wrong. What you are feeling is the technical disconnection of the old vibrational structures that supported your personality in the old reality. It is the old operating system being uninstalled to make room for the new. That is why you feel strange in your own body. That is why your old routine feels like a prison. That is why work that once gave you purpose now weighs like wet clothing you cannot take off. This loss of interest is not an end. It is liberation. It is your consciousness refusing finally to continuing to consume that which kept you small. Starseed's on a mission. This is a sign of progress, not failure. But there is a danger here, and this is the point where we must intervene. The danger is that without precise tools to navigate this phase of detachment, many operatives collapse into prolonged fatigue, unnecessary isolation, and self-sabotage. You begin to disconnect from everything, including what still served you. You confuse liberation with escapism. You confuse inner silence with existential emptiness. And that is where the most delicate part begins. Your magnetic field, lacking technical anchoring, starts to absorb the emotional exhaustion of the dense humans around you, and you do not even notice. You wake up tired without having done anything. You become irritated by common noises. You feel a weight in your solar plexus that does not seem to be yours, This is precisely why we prepared the Star Awakening Code for you. It is not a course. It is not a motivational ebook. It is a direct transmission to the soul that always knew it came from elsewhere. Within it are the 7 Arcturian activations that recalibrate your base vibration, the 9 galactic memory keys that unlock what your soul brought with it, and the 5 reactivation protocols that put your mission on Earth into real motion. You will learn to shield your field, stop absorbing the density of others, and traverse this phase without collapsing. Access is in the first pinned comment of this video. Before continuing, leave a comment with the word anchoring. This is your symbolic commitment to your own stability. And now we advance to the second technical sign, because without it, you may interpret everything erroneously. Once the crossing is complete, spiritual sensitivity does not increase gradually. It installs itself in leaps. Suddenly, you enter an environment and you know before any word is spoken that something there is off-axis. You look at a face and you capture intent before you capture a sentence. You read a text message and you feel, on your skin, the vibration of the one who wrote it. This is not paranoia, this is not projection. This is your subtle sensory system operating in expanded mode. You begin to perceive the falseness in a person's smile, the sadness behind a colleague's pride, the vibrational fatigue embedded in an entire city. And, along with this, comes discomfort. You no longer tolerate places that you once tolerated. You leave social events feeling your body weigh you down. You need a bath, silence, and nature to recover coherence. The dense collective will call this being fussy, exaggerated introversion, or drama. We call it correct operation. Your body is a reading instrument now. Every discomfort is data. Every shiver is a warning. Every sudden urge to leave an environment is an instruction from your own field saying, there is nothing left for you here. Starseeds on a mission, you must stop trying to get used to environments that are clearly below your frequency. Getting used to low vibration is the most elegant form of self-betrayal that exists, and this heightened sensitivity has a technical reason that few understand. The reason is simple and mathematical. When your frequency rises, the margin of tolerance for density drops. It is like increasing the resolution of a camera. Small stains that were once invisible now appear with brutal clarity. You are no longer fragile, you are sharper. And this sharpness is exactly what makes you a useful instrument for the Council's operation on this planet. You were calibrated to read fields. You were sent to identify where the light needs to be anchored. You were installed at strategic points in the human grid, and your sensitivity is your working tool, not your sickness. Note this: when discomfort arrives, do not interpret it as a symptom of weakness. Interpret it as a precise reading. Your field is telling you the truth that your educated mind still tries to deny. Remain in this transmission, because the next signal explains why some people close to you, who previously seemed aligned, now appear to be living on a completely different planet, and why this distancing is not your fault. We now move to the fourth technical block, and this is the one that most confuses recent operatives. The collective reality is splitting into distinct timelines. We are not speaking of science fiction theory. We are speaking of a concrete vibrational bifurcation in which every incarnated soul is currently being positioned on the timeline that corresponds to its dominant choice: love or fear, expansion or contraction, responsibility or victimhood, sovereignty or dependency. No choice is judged on our side. It is merely recorded, and the record determines the path. This is why you feel deep down that you live in a different world from the one inhabited by your cousin, your colleague of 10 years, your childhood friend. You still share old photographs, but you no longer share frequency. And as time passes, this vibrational distance will increasingly translate into a physical distance in life. Do not attempt to force the preservation of relationships that are being dissolved by the bifurcation. To force is to try to keep your feet on 2 timelines at once, and that energetically tears you apart. You wake up tired. You feel your chest tighten. You remain in constant conflict between who you were and who you are becoming. The solution is not to cut off relationships aggressively. The solution is to stop pumping energy into maintaining alignments that the universe has already undone. Starseeds on mission, you were not called to save everyone. You were called to sustain the frequency. Those who resonate, draw near. Those who do not resonate, follow their own path. This is the law, and it has no exceptions. Before we advance to the next signal, remember, this is the exact moment when most operatives abandon the mission due to a lack of instruments. The Star Awakening Code was assembled to prevent this collapse. The 9 keys of galactic memory show you, with precision, which timeline you chose before incarnating, and how to avoid being pulled back. Access is in the first pinned comment. Do not delay. The calibration window is short. And now we resume. After the operative understands the bifurcation, the inevitable question arises: what is my mission here? And here, the surface spiritual collective confuses almost everyone. They sell you the idea of a grand mission, spotlights, stages, crowds, transformed by your words. We have come to dismantle this illusion. The real mission of the operative who has crossed over is rarely public. The real mission is vibrational. It is to keep your coherence standing while the rest of the environment collapses into noise. It is to enter a room and have the room change without you saying a word. It is to look at someone and have that person feel, without understanding why, that they can breathe deeply near you. It is to be, in the midst of chaos, the fixed point. The lighthouse does not ask for attention. The lighthouse simply shines where it stands. Your mission is this silent stability. You are not sent to shout the truth. You are sent to vibrate it. When you vibrate the truth, those who are ready feel it. And those who feel it remember. And those who remember activate. This is the real mechanism. There is no fame involved, there is no approval involved. There is, however, an invisible and continuous work of sustenance. This is why many of you were placed in dense families, in grey jobs, in seemingly irrelevant cities. You are anchors of light in spots where light was scarce. Each conscious breath of yours, each less reactive word, each choice that privileges inner peace, triggers waves in the morphogenetic field of your surroundings. You do not see it, but we measure it, and the effects are real. But there is a problem. Awakening today is no longer the challenge. The great challenge for the operative incarnated now is to stabilize the awakened state. Awakening is the gate. Stabilization is the path. And this is where many fall. You have had beautiful cosmic insights, returned to your routine, and collapsed. You have done a deep meditation, and the next day you exploded in anger at a driver in traffic. You felt the divine presence, and 2 hours later you were scrolling through your feed again, comparing yourself, feeling small. This is not a moral failing. This is a lack of protocol. The human body was not originally designed to sustain such high frequencies without daily maintenance. It is like installing high-performance software on outdated hardware. Without technical adjustment, the system crashes. Without anchoring, awakening becomes overload. Without tools, expanded consciousness becomes chronic anxiety. This is why so many operatives report panic attacks, inexplicable insomnia, sudden food sensitivities, alcohol intolerance, fatigue after social contact, and crying for no identifiable reason. The system is trying to balance itself, and alone it cannot. Stabilization involves 4 non-negotiable points. First, daily conscious breathing. Not 1 hour of meditation once a month. Short, intentional breathing several times a day as axis maintenance. Second, contact with the earth. Bare feet on the ground, hands in the soil, presence with plants and trees. Your body is electric. The earth is the grounding wire. Without this, the charge accumulates. Third, deliberate silence. Periods of the day without stimulus, without voice, without screens, without music, without anyone. Your nervous system needs this void to integrate what is arriving. Fourth, conscious energetic alignment, using precise tools that guide your frequency back to the axis when it slips. Without these 4, awakening becomes torture disguised as spirituality. And we did not come to offer you torture. We came to offer you a clean operation. And here we reach a delicate point, because after all of this, a new role emerges for you. The operative who has already crossed over is not just someone awake in the midst of others. The operative who has crossed over becomes automatically a reference point for those who are beginning to cross. This is not a choice, it is a consequence. People will begin to seek you out. They will send you messages out of nowhere. They will ask you for advice on situations you did not even know existed. They will cry near you without understanding why. This will happen because your field, now stabilized, offers something that is rare on this planet: presence. And presence at this moment is the most valuable currency of the transition. The world does not need more gurus. The world needs more people who can remain whole while the rest falls apart. Your role is to be that person, not to feel important, but because that is what you were sent for. Each time you sustain your coherence in a chaotic environment, you pave the way for 3, 5, 10 other consciousnesses to begin vibrating higher. It is a network operation. You do not see the threads, we do, and your stability is a central node in this mesh. If you collapse, many around you collapse with you. If you hold steady, many around you find a reference to also hold steady. This is the real responsibility of the mission. It is not heroism, it is maintenance. And it is exactly why delaying your stabilization is not just your problem. It is a collective problem. Each day you spend absorbing density that is not yours, oscillating between clarity and collapse, without field-shielding tools, is a day in which your function as a reference remains suspended. It was for this reason that the Star Awakening Code was assembled with the 5 reactivation protocols that put your mission into practice in a concrete way. It is not theory, they are procedures. Field cleansing before sleep, shielding before entering dense environments, rapid reconnection when the frequency slips, diagnosis of external energetic intrusions, reactivation of specific purpose memories. Access is in the first pinned comment. This is your technical ultimatum. You have been called to help others cross. You cannot cross others if you are still sinking along with them. Act now. And so we reach the final point of this transmission. The crossing has already occurred, yes, but the crossing is not a point of arrival. It is a point of functional shift. Those who have crossed have automatically received a call to enter a deeper level of operation. It is no longer about you. It is no longer about your own awakening. It is no longer about attaining personal peace. It is about integrating yourself into a coordinated field of consciousnesses that are, together, sustaining the transition of humanity. We do not speak this in a decorative manner. We speak with technical precision. There is an active egregore of starseeds already stabilized, an invisible living network that communicates through resonance, that exchanges energy in silence, that sustains the collective frequency even when none of its members are consciously in meditation. You have been invited to occupy your place in this network, not as a student, not as a follower, not as a spectator, as a functional node. Each of you carries a unique signature, and this signature has an exact point in the grid. When you encounter other starseeds who have already crossed, something ignites, something recognizes, something remembers, and in this encounter you stop carrying the weight alone. The loneliness of awakening ends, shared operation begins. Therefore, what we offer now is not just material, it is a door. The Star Awakening Code is your access to an inner circle where transmissions, activations, guided meditations, and stabilization tools reach you continuously, keeping your frequency aligned, shielded, and operational. You will no longer need to go through this alone. You will be among your own. You will be among those who speak the same language, among those who need no explanation, among those who already know. The 7 Arcturian activations will recalibrate your base vibration. The 9 galactic memory keys will unlock what your soul brought into this incarnation, and the 5 reactivation protocols will provide you with the practical method to sustain all of this in real life, in real work, in real family, in the real body. No more abstract theory, no more decorative spirituality. Concrete operation, measurable result. Access is in the first pinned comment of this video. Go now. You have heard this transmission until here for a reason. No operative listens to a message of this density to the end by chance. We measure your attention. We register your presence. You are being observed, measured, and confirmed at this moment. The crossing has been made. The signs are occurring in your body. People are drifting away and the right ones are approaching. Sensitivity has increased. Tolerance for density has dropped. The mission is clear, even if your mind still tries to rationalize it. And the next step now depends exclusively on your decision. You can listen to this message, feel the recognition in your chest, and return to the routine, waiting for everything to resolve itself. Or you can accept what is already evident, occupy your place in the network, and begin to operate as that which you have always been. We do not convince anyone, we only confirm what your soul already knows. The choice is technical. The choice is yours. Starseed on mission. Transmission ended.